Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at this general election poll for Michigan. And the headline is Trump leads Biden by 2% in two-way race and 1% in a five-way. So as always, I preface it by saying this is just one poll. Take it somewhat with a grain of salt, but this is Michigan. It's a key state. We're likely to take a more frequent look at it along with the other battlegrounds as time goes on. Now first, let's cover some of the background about this poll. Now this pollster is Mitchell Research and Communications. And toward the bottom, it says this poll was conducted entirely by text messaging voters' cell phones and sending them to a SurveyMonkey poll. Now, I don't think SurveyMonkey has the greatest reputation. Maybe they turned things around, but that tells you how this poll was conducted. Then, of course, it says the data was weighted by age, gender, party affiliation, and education to reflect the likely turnout in November. It was done May 20th to the 21st. The sample size was 697 likely voters. That comes out to a plus or minus 3.71% margin of error. So now we could go back up to the top, and in the head-to-head Biden-Trump matchup, Trump has a 2-point lead. He's at 49, Biden is at 47. So not a majority of support, but it's right there. Now what about the five-way race? Well, once they add in Kennedy, Jill Stein, and Cornel West, then Trump goes down 3 points to 46, Biden goes down 2 points to 45. So it's a 1-point Trump advantage. Kennedy pulls in 5, Stein and West are at 1%. We also might have to consider Libertarian nominee Chase Oliver being a part of this in the future. So in this, Kennedy's support has stagnated or maybe even declined a little bit. Now they have an explanation for these results. It says Trump leads in the two-way race because he has solidified the Republican base better than Biden has solidified the Democratic base. Trump is getting 92% of the GOP vote compared to Biden's 89% of the Democrats. More importantly, Trump is getting 9% of the Democrats while Biden is getting only 4% of the Republicans. That is definitely more important if Trump is getting more than twice the amount of support from Democrats than Biden is getting from Republicans. However, with independents, Biden is leading 49 to 43. So a little bit of a trade-off there in both directions. Now, the next page, they cover the same thing in the five-way race. Trump is getting 89% of Republicans while Biden is getting 85% of Democrats. So these are all small percentages, but there does seem to be more of a lack of enthusiasm on the Biden side. That could change over the next 5 months. It could stay the same, or it could go in the other direction. We just don't know if those unenthusiastic Biden voters are going to end up sitting home, vote third party, or voting against Trump and therefore supporting Biden. Now, again, in the five-way race, with independent voters, Biden is up by 10 this time, 48 to 38. So that's a little bit more significant than just 3 or 4 points. Now, everybody always wonders, is Kennedy going to take more from Biden? Is he going to take more from Trump? This says he takes 4% away from Trump and 1% away from Biden. In the previous survey, Kennedy took 3% away from both. Again, small percentages, we have to see what happens. Next, I like how they threw in the generic congressional ballot. You don't see that too much, but hopefully we'll start to see that more often. But their Republicans are up by 3, 47 to 44. And they also cover that open seat for the U.S. Senate. The likely nominees are Alyssa Slotkin, the Democrat, and Mike Rogers, the Republican. Slotkin here is up by 4, only 40% to 36. Slotkin is doing better with Democrats, where she leads 84 to 7. Rogers is getting only 71% of Republicans. With independent voters, Slotkin is up by 3, 30 to 27. So according to this, we've got a lack of enthusiasm on both sides. Biden for president and Rogers for Senate. It's also going to be highly debatable how much crossover vote there's actually going to be. How many voters actually would support Trump for president, but then Slotkin for the Senate? It doesn't seem like many, but based on most of the polling we've seen so far, that's not entirely impossible with Biden clearly running behind Senate Democrats. They do mention Sandy Penciller here is going after Mike Rogers in the GOP primary. So overall, we've got 56% of voters that are very enthusiastic, down a dozen points since March. 23% are somewhat enthusiastic, 11% not very, and 9% not at all. If you break that down by party, Republicans are much more enthusiastic. 70% say very to 48% for the Dems. 49% of independents say very enthusiastic. 65% of Trump voters are very enthusiastic to just 50% of Democrats. Again, enthusiasm and turnout is going to be key. We haven't even gotten to June yet, so any effort for getting out the vote is just too far off. Then they've got a little bit of a demographic breakdown here in the Biden-Trump matchup. Biden is up with women, but it's only by 4 points, 51 to 47. Trump leads with men by 9, 52 to 43. I would expect Biden to have a little bit more of a lead there with women. With 18 to 44-year-olds, Trump is actually in the lead by 2, 48 to 46. He's also in the lead with 45 to 64 at 49 to 46. However, Biden is in the lead with 65 and up, 52 to 48. So that's kind of the opposite of what we would expect in a traditional traditional election. Younger voters usually vote for the Democrat, older voters usually lean toward the Republican. It's way too early to say if that's actually going to hold, but if it did, that would be notable. How about the racial breakdown? With white voters, Trump is up by only 3 points, 48 to 45. Then with non-white and non-black voters, Trump is leading 58 to 18. That could be where that Arab American population comes into play. But with black voters, Biden is up huge, 74 to 14. And with education, Biden leads big with those with an advanced degree, 63 to 22, and college graduates, 57 to 31. Trump leads with those that have some college or have gone to a trade school, 52 to 38, and those who have never attended college, 56 to 23. And if you want to take a look at the rest of this poll, of course, the link will be down below in the description. But let's see where Michigan is at in the aggregate. Right now on Real Clear Politics, Trump is up very slightly by half a point, 47.1 to 46.6. So it could come down to the late breakers, it could come down to the enthusiasm, but also the third parties are important. Remember that Kennedy has secured ballot access in Michigan. So if you go out to a five-way race, then it's actually dead even at 42.3 apiece. Kennedy's at 7%, Stein and West are at about 1 to 2%. If you go down here and look at the timeline, for a while Trump was ahead by a few points. Over the past month or so, it has narrowed up to pretty much a dead even tie. Now, of course, back in 2016, Trump won the state very narrowly with 47.5%. Hillary was just under that with 47.3. In the next election, with a lot less third-party vote, Biden went up several points to 50.6. Trump also went up, but it was by very little to 47.8. So we don't know for sure if Trump can actually get above 48% of the vote. If you have 4 or 5 candidates on the ballot, then of course that looks very unlikely. But this Rust Belt state that was key to the blue wall should be highly competitive once again. Here's some exit polling from 2020. It looks like Trump got 3% of Democrats, while Biden got 6% of Republicans. Independents also broke for Biden by 6, 51 to 45. Trump won men by 10 points, while Biden won women by 14. With the racial breakdown, Trump won white voters by 11. He got 7% of the black vote and 44% of Hispanics. With the age breakdown, it wasn't even close. Biden easily won voters under 30, and he also did carry voters over 65 by 2 points. The polling was not great last time. It had Biden up by about 6 points, so it did underestimate Trump. If you try to just focus on this pollster from today, at the top we do have SurveyMonkey, and they had Biden up by 6. But if we go down just a little bit further, Mitchell Research, they also had Biden up by 7 points. So everything outside of Trafalgar did have Biden with an advantage. We just don't know what's going to happen this time, but we do see a lack of enthusiasm for Biden. But we also might be seeing a potential demographic shift as well. And the polling has been very close. Many of them have shown Trump with a small advantage. And based on the previous polling in 20, but especially back in 16, we're not at all used to seeing Trump with any kind of a lead. But there's plenty of time left. We're going to see what happens. But that's it for this poll and a look at where things are at in Michigan. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this poll or this pollster? Do you buy it or do you blow it off? How about the five-way race with Kennedy? And what about the aggregate polling? And what about the current polling averages? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.